7:50 on TSN 690. It's Weekend Game Plan with Matthew Ross. Saturdays and Sundays, 7 to 9 a.m. Habs Breakfast coming up with Dan Robertson and Amanda Stein just after 8 o'clock. I want to say hello to our friends over at deadhitsports.com. You can like them on Facebook. You can like them on Twitter as well. It's a great place for college and pro football game previews, recaps, etc. Check out my picks for the NFL Week 5 action today. Deadhitsports.com. Also, if you're looking to get your feet wet in writing sports, send me an email, matthew@tsn690.ca. I'll hook you up with deadhitsports.com, and perhaps you can contribute to them. Let us talk with our next guest and get to some college sports roundup from around the Montreal area. Moe Khan 19 on Twitter, TSN 690's own Moe Khan. How you doing, sir?
I am well. Yourself, Matthew?
I'm very well, thank you. You're excited about your Raiders today?
That I am, yes. San Diego today, an injury-depleted Charger team, but it should be a close game. They played some close games the last 4 times they played each other.
All right, Mo, a big question I've been asking at the top of the program for fantasy. Who do I start today, Mo? Randall Cobb of the Packers versus the Giants, Green Bay coming off a bye week.
Yeah.
Or William Fuller V from Houston playing against Minnesota. All the rankings websites have them pretty much equal.
I go with Cobb. Minnesota's secondary has done a great job with the pass defense. Cobb's a better play against a Giant defense that has looked vulnerable at times, especially in the second half of football games.
All right, if you disagree with Mo, let me know. Matthew Words on Twitter. Hey, Mo, lots going on in terms of college sports. This is like the prime season, right? October, lots going on in a lot of the more popular disciplines.
Absolutely. Well, first and foremost, no football this week because of the Thanksgiving holidays. So a lot of these CIS varsity teams have taken off conference play for this weekend here, but we're seeing more basketball starting up here. Earlier this week, UCAM played CBU, which is Cape Breton University, earlier on Wednesday evening at Champlain College, in which UCAM won the game by 4 points. But in the lead-up to this past weekend's events here, Concordia had their classic with the men's and women's tournament, in which the Concordia Stingers men's team so far have played CBU on Saturday, in which they won 75-53. On Friday, they played Nipissing University, in which they also prevailed 81-68, and they wrap up today against Brock University, and that will be the last of the Concordia Classic for the men's side. Roscoe Popovich has put together a strong recruiting class led by Nikki Noble from Champlain College, and this is a team that could make some noise this year in the Quebec Conference for men's basketball.
All right. Elsewhere, lacrosse?
Men's lacrosse, a great game that was played on Wednesday at McGill University between the Redmond and Bishop Gators. And for those who aren't familiar with these two schools, they're bitter rivals in the CUFLA, which is the Quebec-Ontario Lacrosse League. And essentially, these teams have gone back and forth here. It's been streaks. Bishop's defeated McGill 10 straight not too long ago, and McGill's won the last 8, including this game, to make it 9 in a row. It was a close game here. It was 4-4. It was 8-8, 9-9. McGill, the defending champions, the Big Attaway champions, came through on a game-winning goal by Reese Burnell, who's been one of the key players for the McGill lacrosse team the last few years here. McGill now improves to 7-1. They're in second place, potentially vying for first place. And for BU, they dropped to 3-5 and now fighting for a playoff spot. But I'll tell you one thing, Matt. We spoke about it briefly last week. Men's lacrosse is starting to become popular and popular here, whether it's north or down south. And this is the McGill lacrosse team has done very well the last 4 or 5 years under head coach Tim Murdoch.
You know, we had a pro team for 1 year here a few years ago. Well, probably early 2000s now. Montreal Express played at the Bell Center. I went to one game, and it was tremendous. I really enjoy the action. So, yeah, I'm all for hearing more about lacrosse, and we'll touch base with the McGill coach, I understand, in a few weeks. So looking forward to that. Mo, why don't you tell the folks as well where they can hear you doing some play-by-play?
McGill University, McGill Athletics, they will broadcast games on a weekly basis. Last Wednesday, which was this past Wednesday, I did the Bishops and McGill lacrosse game. This upcoming week, I have a melange of games, whether it's Seja basketball or Champlain College, or, again, men's lacrosse next Sunday, and also sprinkling some women's and men's soccer as well from McGill University. So a busy week of play-by-play for yours truly.
And you can find that on the McGill website?
That is correct. Go to the McGill Twitter handle, @McGill Athletics, and they will always post up the link to the McGill live broadcast.
All right. Thanks so much, Mo. When are you gracing us with your presence on TSN 690 next?
Before I do that, just a quick men's score update from McGill hockey.
Okay.
McGill losing a shocker, 5-2 to UOIT.
Yes. OIT. When you sent that to me today,
Yes.
I said, what the hell is OIT?
Ontario Institute of Technology.
That sounds made up, Mo.
Yeah, it's a school in Ontario. But long story short, first time OIT has defeated McGill at McCollum Arena. Look, McGill's notorious for getting off the slow starts in years past, but with a team led by Jacob Gervais-Chenard, one of the best goalies in the Quebec Conference, Ontario Conference as well, they will rebound from this. And I think McGill will be one of the teams to beat in their division heading to real play as they move along throughout the months of October into November.
Now, a question for you, Mo.
Yes.
Now that McGill's off to this slow start, are they going to maybe make a call to Mike Babcock, ask him to wear a McGill tie behind the bench for good luck with the
Perhaps,
Leafs?
but I'll tell
It's
you
the wrong colors, though.
I'll tell you one thing, though. McGill's got a great coach in themselves with Kelly Nobes, who I think can definitely coach at a higher level. He's a great mastermind. And like I said, they've gotten off the slow starts after a winter break or even at the beginning of years past. But this is a team that's built to win now. I think given what they went through last year where they came up short due to injuries on the roster, I think they're much healthier coming into the season. Great recruiting class from the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League coming to the McGill Redmond. I think they'll make some serious noise in the Quebec-Ontario Conference.
How's Concordia looking?
Concordia, it's a team that's on the rebound here, Matt. They played Vermont University pretty tough a couple weeks ago down there in their barn. Right now, the way that the Quebec-Ontario League is structured, I think Three Rivers, Three Rivers, McGill will be the top two teams. Carleton will always be there. Ottawa is back for the first time in a couple years since the scandal that they had, which they suspended their hockey ops for a year and a half or so. It's going to be much closer this year than it was the last couple of seasons, but I still believe it is going to be Three Rivers, McGill, and Carleton being the top three teams of that division.
He is Moe Khan, Moe Khan 19 on Twitter if you want to follow him there. Mo, thanks so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Go Raiders. Take care, Matt.